moment. Terrible. Oh yeah. So, hello and welcome to the first episode of the Burnt Ham podcast. I forgot to mention that was the name of it, the Burnt Ham podcast.
That is a weird name.
It is, and it has a reason that you'll never know.
Okay.
This has gone downhill already. Okay.
Hello, my name is Thomas.
That's a probably good port of call. My name is George, and I work at the cinema.
And I work at Morrison's.
So we're two very well-educated individuals. This is the first of an indefinitely long stream of podcasts that hopefully
No one listens to.
This is shit already. Anyway, I've brought some topics with me. And let's get stuck into it, shall we? So the first one is an actual topic. It's Nomadland, the film that Tom and I watched last Monday. So, thoughts on the film? What was your...
Well, my overall thoughts was that I enjoyed it. And that it was a weird film. That's my overall thought.
That's a very in-depth review. Thank you.
That will be all.
So yeah, Nomadland is a film about a woman who travels in a van and
Her husband just died.
Yeah,
dies before.
yeah, her husband dies off screen, so literally the least important character ever. But not to her because she's an idiot. No, but it's a heartfelt story about, well, it's about many things, but my main takeaway with it was her learning to deal with grief and the journey she went on to sort of overcome and accept this loss. I mean, it's got other themes running around as well, but that's the general straight up story. That's not really going too far in depth with it. What did you think of the
Yeah,
plot?
I thought it was about her just coming to terms with being on her own and trying to make her own entertainment without a husband, really.
Yeah, there's a lot of scenes that are just like pretty flat still shots of her in her camper van, just by
Crying.
herself. Well, yeah, either crying, knitting, or lighting sparklers, then proceeding to walk around a campsite and talking to nobody.
Or taking a shit.
yeah. Within the first 15 minutes, there's her... No, within the first 5 minutes, sorry. There's her taking a piss and then doing a bum jiggle.
Which is hilarious.
It's tragic and hilarious, so many layers there. Anyway, back to the plot. So yeah, she goes on this journey, she meets new people, and...
Tries to find work throughout that, which is a bit of a struggle, I think.
Yeah, that's another theme of it. Someone mentioned to me that there's the idea of the gig economy being thrown around there. So she goes to work for Amazon, for example, and it's like a temporary... what's it called? What's a short contract?
Temporary contract.
Yeah, I suppose it would be a temporary contract, wouldn't it? A fixed term contract, that's it. That's what I was looking for. So it's a fixed term contract of however long. The passage of time is kind of arbitrary in this movie. You're kind of meant to get lost in this idea that it's a never ending cycle of...
Yeah, I think the only time you realise is when it's like Christmas.
Mm.
Because they have like a Thanksgiving dinner because it's in America. But
Yeah.
that's kind of the only time you kind of get an
Yeah.
understanding for what time in the year it is, other than the weather, I guess.
Yeah, but even with that, it's still left quite arbitrary, to be honest, because the way that the days progress, it's not like a clear, oh, she did this morning, and then in the afternoon she drove to Wisconsin and saw ducks, whatever. It kind of jumps different amounts of time between scenes without you really kind of knowing how long it's been, which I think is that's meant to bring you into this woman's world where she's just
making it up as
Yeah.
she goes along, pretty
Yeah.
much. I think that's what it is.
it's yeah. So you could compare that film to what we're doing now. It's like on the same level as art. Wait, no, it's on the same level.
Of not knowing what the fuck you're doing.
Yeah,
Is that what you mean?
the film was shit. All right, I didn't understand it.
But if you really look into this, you'll realise the genius, and that's clearly shown in parallel with this podcast, that it might be shit on the outside.
And thank you for listening to this podcast. We'll be back next week. No, but back to the film. Stay on topic. Right, back to the film. Are you okay?
Yeah. Sorry.
Tom just choked on his Vocation Life and Death IPA, a refreshing beverage for any time of the day.
Please sponsor us.
Yeah, please. We need money. Anyway, speaking of staying on topic, I wanted to mention the cinematography in the film was absolutely fantastic. Every shot had like so much depth to it. The way that it used colours and kind of like natural settings was really cool. Like there was this one shot where she's walking past this dead tree, right? And it's really taken its time, really like making you appreciate the fine detail that you can see on this dead tree, and it kind of tells its own story just through camera movements. That's a lot of this film. It's got a lot of subtlety to it.
Yeah, I think that it's trying to add, because nature was quite a big element of it. Like when they were in the nomad kind of group, they were talking about that it gets them closer to nature, and in a lot of the shots were landscape scenes, and we're just basically filming the landscape that she was in because she was traveling to a lot of different places. So.
Yeah, there was a lot of kind of wide, grand shots that, whilst I can't even remember the character's name, and I think that's a credit to the movie as well. But anyway, the character, she is in the foreground of a lot of these massive shots, and she still looks tiny in them. It's insane. I don't know how they do it because I'm not a cinematographer, obviously, and I'm quite clearly not a film reviewer because my thoughts are so kind of garbled, but practice makes perfect, I suppose. But yeah, the way it kind of showed how small and insignificant you kind of feel when compared to this great American landscape. God, I love America. And that was the review of Nomadland.
Yeah, and for me, I'm not a massive film buff either, so I don't really know how to describe the film, to be quite honest.
No,
it was just a weird film. It was just something that I wouldn't usually watch, and on the surface seems quite bland and boring. Like I would say that. Am I correct in saying that it was like the lighting was quite dreary throughout? Was that right, or am I just?
I'd definitely say it had a bit more of a melancholy tone when it came to.
I can't really
the
remember
lighting.
it. How long ago was it that we even watched the film?
It was oh yeah, I was going to mention. So we're recording this on a Sunday, and we watched the film on the previous Monday, and yeah, I remembered a lot more about it on the Monday until I decided to drink loads of vodka at Weatherspoons and then fall into a reen after. This is not a lie, it's a true story. Yeah.
I was not there.
Yeah, it was a very stupid decision.
Yeah, I'm glad I wasn't there.
Disclaimer, don't condone the use of vodka. I think it's a terrible drink. But I suppose it gets you completely wasted.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude. Anyway, I don't think I can add much more note to
I
that.
can't really remember enough about the movie to really give a proper review.
No,
in my opinion.
If I wanted to talk about it, probably I'd definitely have to watch it before we recorded. And staying on the topic of film, actually, because that makes a lot of sense. Another film I watched recently, I don't know if you've seen it or not, but I watched The Visit recently. The
No, I haven't seen that.
M. Night Shyamalan film from about 10 years ago. And this was the first M. Night Shyamalan film I've ever watched, and I was pleasantly surprised by it. It wasn't terrible. The twist, whilst I'd say completely predictable if you just pay attention to what they're saying, it was still kind of fun. Spoilers, maybe. I don't know if you care about this
I haven't
film.
even heard about it, so I'm not that bothered.
Spoilers for a film that was released 10 years ago. So the premise is these two kids, the daughter and the son of this mother whose husband ran off to California. They are going on a visit to their grandparents, and they want to make a film about their experience with their grandparents so that they can learn more about what went down with the husband leaving, and what went down with something that happened on the day that the mum left home and never spoke to them again. So what happened, absolute spoilers from here on out. What actually happened was she hit her mum on the way out and then never talked to them again, and her dad hit her in retaliation. But that's the boring part. The fun part is that the grandparents that the kids are visiting are actually escaped mental hospital patients, and
their grandparents escaped.
No.
What?
The grandparents aren't actually their grandparents. They're pretending to be their grandparents.
Okay, yeah. How does that get mixed up? How do you mistake? Have they never seen their grandparents before? That they just don't know what they look like?
For some reason, they just never. The mum doesn't. Well, no, I don't know why I've said for some reason. I guess you wouldn't think of that immediately, but they're like, "Oh, Granddad and Granny are acting weird," and then the mum says over video calls, like, "Yeah, they're old people. It's fine, innit?" And then
thinking they have Alzheimer's or something.
Yeah, when Granny was literally naked, scratching the walls.
What?
These kids are fucking idiots, honestly. No, obviously they're kids, and
how old are their kids?
The daughter's about 13, maybe. No, maybe a bit older. I don't know. I find it difficult to tell ages, if I'm honest. Yeah, there's the boy fucking.
Is there two? So there's two kids.
Yeah,
a boy and a girl. One of them's 13.
Thanks for saving this.
Is the boy younger or older?
So the boy is younger.
Okay, so they're both pretty young, and they've never seen their grandparents before.
And they go to visit them, and one of the first things the boy does for the gran is rap about Hawaii. I think it's called like Hawaiian upside down pineapple cake.
What the fuck?
Yeah, and it was fucking awful, and I actually wanted to die.
Did the granny kill him as punishment for that awful rap?
See, I think that's what should have happened, and the film ended there. But sadly, it went on. No. I don't know, the granny was like, "That's amazing." Oh, whatever she sounded like, you know. I'm not a 90-year-old woman, unfortunately. And there was a bit where the girl climbed into the oven, and the granny was just like, "Let's close the door then."
Why did she climb into an oven?
Because she had to clean it, and for some reason these weird ass
old people have
a massive oven that's like 4 foot deep or something.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it's pretty nuts. I want an oven like
cook
that.
children in the oven? Is that why it's so big?
And I guess, well, no, they don't. They don't in the film, but I guess it maybe happened off screen, maybe. But there's nothing to ever suggest that happens.
Cannibalism.
Yeah, I just think they're meant to be mentally ill, and it's a pretty bad portrayal of, you know, being senile and losing your marbles, as they say, because they literally portray them as psychopathic killers kind of thing who are really scary, when in reality, if you see a loved one or an old person kind of losing it, it's not scary. Well, it can be scary, it's just more sad and confusing, and, you know,
It's difficult, I would say. You don't really know how to respond. I've not experienced it myself, but
I mean, I've not seen it bad myself, but my nan wasn't always completely with it, but, you know, it was never like, she wouldn't ever be like, oh, George, up in the oven then.
yeah, I think, I've not seen it firsthand, but my mum works with people with Alzheimer's, and she just comes out with such weird stories of stuff that they do, because they just have a really different memory to normal people, because they'll remember stuff from when they were young, and they'll think that they're still a child, or their husband's still alive or whatever, and they just can't remember what they've just eaten, but they can remember a really specific scenario that happened like when they were 20, and it's just ends up being really weird, I guess.
Yeah, it's pretty insane how the brain works.
Yeah.
Like, one part of the brain can stay completely intact, and the other parts can deteriorate, and that might affect memory, might affect your mood. There's a case of this railroad worker in the 19th century called Phineas Gage, and he was working on a railroad, and he hit right on the head of this steel rod a load of gunpowder, and it went straight through.
Oh, I've heard about that.
Went
It goes through his head, doesn't it?
It goes
sticks in his head.
It goes through his frontal lobe, which is to do with mood regulation, I suppose, because, quote from his friends, apparently he's not the same Phineas Gage as he was before this accident. Yeah, so the brain works.
Which is pretty obvious if someone goes straight through your head.
Yeah, you expect something to go wrong. If nothing happens, that would just be insane. That would be an example of, I can't remember what it's called. Neural.
I can't help you here. I'm not sure.
Neural
either.
magic.
Neural disorder. No,
there's
something like that. I don't know.
I don't care.
I have
Look
no
it
idea.
up. Do A-level psychology and you'll find out. But yeah, nice tangent about the brain. So yeah,
What were we the film?
We were talking about
you
the
haven't
visit.
talked about the granddad yet. You've only talked about the grandma.
Oh.
Does the granddad, is he more normal or is he worse?
well, he comes off more normal and less crazy, but he, relevantly actually, he becomes aggressive occasionally just out of nowhere. He torments.
What, physically aggressive? or
Yeah, he was
mentally aggressive?
physically aggressive towards some random guy on the street. He was like walking by, and he was like, "That guy's following us. He's staring at me." So, you know, like paranoia, but taken to a ridiculous extreme, which makes it kind of less of a sensitive approach towards discussing these kind of things. But the real standout moment of the granddad, this is his opus magnum scene, if you will. So like a lot of old people, he has to wear incontinence pads, nappies, diapers, whatever you want to call them,
Yeah.
and he keeps them in the shed, and that's like not even the weirdest part. That's pretty gross, but fair enough.
What, he keeps them used? What, like after he uses them, he keeps them in the shed, or he keeps like the supply in the shed?
No, he puts the used ones in the shed.
No, okay, that's why it's gross. Okay.
but I think it's because he's embarrassed about it or whatever. But anyway,
So he keeps his shit in the shed, is what you're saying.
he literally keeps his shit in the shed, and there's a bit in the climax of the film where everything's popping off, where the kid, who is a germaphobe, gets shit wiped on his face, and it's pretty comedic. Like, there's nothing really scary about that. The scary part is that he's got a phobia of it, but that's
the scary part is getting a disease.
Yeah, I suppose, but it just comes off as like slapstick humor, and it's pretty funny. But yeah, oh well. Average film, say 5, 6 out of 10.
So, would you recommend me to watch this film?
No.
Okay, I won't bother then. I wasn't going to anyway. But...
I didn't think you would, but yeah, unless you were planning on watching it, don't. It's not worth going out of your way for. It's not like some David Lynch masterpiece. Oh my god. I almost spilt loads of beer on me. It could have been the end of us. Did you bring any topics?
Did I bring any topics?
Yeah.
I didn't know I had to bring any topics.
Well,
I
don't know. Do you have...
I didn't really... I wasn't prepared for this scenario. So in other words, no, I don't have any topics. But if you do want me to think of any topics, I'll try and think of some later on.
Okay, so whilst you think of topics...
Are you going to name all the flags in the world whilst I do this?
Yeah. Name all the flags.
Yeah.
What? So like the tricolor, the Union Jack.
No, every single flag. So in every single country, the flags within that, the country's flag,
Plus the county flags.
plus the county flags, and any flags within
Why
that.
are you referring?
In every single country.
Do you mean the flags themselves, the name of the flags themselves, or do you mean the state/counties/?
Just the flags. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I'm just trying to think of something that would take you forever. That was the first thing that came to my head. I could have just said count to some
name
fat
the
number.
flags. So the French, the French flag is called the tricolor because it's got 3 colours: blue, white, and red.
This really put me off.
Vertically striped in that order. I only know the Union Jack and le tricolore and the good old American.
America.
Fuck yeah. I don't even know what the American flag's called. The Big Bessie, I guess. Well, since you don't have any topics, I guess I'll go to my book. I use paper. That's how cool I am.
Wow, George. Thank you for that not in-depth review. That
Another shit
view
review.
into George's life that he uses paper.
So, story time. I bought a ZZ Top Eliminator record today. I was on my break from work, walking down to Greg's, as you do. For the uninitiated, Greg's is this stupendously fantastic fast food bakery that runs as a franchise in the UK. It's actually really good.
P.S. We live in the UK.
Could
If
you not
can't
tell?
by
Yeah.
fucking weird accents.
By how posh we sound. But yeah, anyway, back to Greg's. I was coming back from Greg's to the cinema at which I'm currently working, and I walked past the charity shop, and I was like, hell yeah, I'm going to buy that record. I went in, I paid 10 quid for it. I think that's a pretty good find. I don't know, maybe someone can tell me whether an Eliminator record is worth 10 quid or not, but that's if anyone watches this.
That was a big if.
Yeah, that was the shit story I decided to write down, and I regret saying it because it was the worst thing ever. But now
Do you have anything to play your ZZ Top record with?
I'm not one of those imbeciles that decides to buy records and not a record player. So yes, I do.
So you already bought the record player, or you?
No, I've already got a record player, and I've got a small record collection
Did
of
not
about
even know
7.
that.
Yeah,
Oh, okay, I didn't know that, so I thought you were just buying a record for the sake of it.
Nah, I don't see the point in that. Let's see. Oh yeah, I just want to give a quick shout out to visionary art director and writer David Lynch for coming out with my favorite TV show, Twin Peaks.
Oh, fucking hell.
To all those Twin Peaks fans out there, let us know your favorite James Hurley moments in the comment section.
For context, I've not watched Twin Peaks, and George always goes on about Twin Peaks.
Yeah, so in our friendship group, I nag for someone to watch Twin Peaks. I don't care who it is, at least one of us.
And I'm never watching Twin Peaks out of spite.
Yeah, I
George
think
always goes on about it,
that's
so
the
George
general
can go
consensus.
fuck off.
I'm off. Bye. Fucking off.
That's like the third joke you've made about leaving now.
Is it for real?
No, because you still haven't done it.
No, no. Right, moving on. This is a good one. This is the most basic question I could think of. The first thing that came to my head. What superpower would you choose and why?
The superpower to have any superpower I want. Done.
I've never actually thought of that answer. That's a genius one.
I'm really smart. No, honest answer for realsies now.
Yeah.
I've always thought that shapeshifter would be pretty cool to like turn into any animal.
Yeah,
And with that you would be able to speak the animal's language that you become.
Yeah, I was literally going to say that, to be honest, because,
Wow.
well, my reasoning's a bit different.
Great minds think alike.
No, my reasoning is different, though. It's so that I can shapeshift into a sexy lady and...
and touch your titties.
Quite simply.
I was
Oh,
thinking
God.
more that I'd be able to just become a fucking, I don't know, maybe a dog or a sheep or
An
something
onion
like that.
would be pretty good.
And then not fucking onion. And then just see what it's like being an animal for a little bit. Then you could fucking be a bird and fly. Yeah, that's better actually.
that
Be a
is-
fucking bird.
That's the genuine reason why I'd want to be a shapeshifter, because you could turn into a bird or a plane. But if you turn into something so stupid that it can't comprehend the idea of shapeshifting, are you permanently stuck as said animal, or does your mind stay intact?
Do you still have the consciousness of yourself?
What is consciousness?
Plus the animal bit on top, or do you just turn into just the animal? Well, then as soon as you turn into an animal, surely that would be it, because you wouldn't know who you were and how you got there. So it would just like being born.
Yeah, so the only way to get around it realistically...
Is that how reincarnation works?
I don't know. I'm not Jewish.
Nah, fucking Buddha, mate.
I know.
Wow,
I just
was
thought...
that the joke? Was that the joke?
Yes.
Because it was fucking awful.
So with the say you turned into a bird, yeah. Surely your head would be massive because you'd have to keep your brain in it. So you'd be this weird
but
bird.
we're talking about but then it would be physically impossible to turn into a bird, surely. So
No, but
surely it doesn't matter whether your brain can fit into a bird's head.
yeah. To be fair, why are
'Cause
we
this is
considering
complete
logic
bullshit
when
anyway.
we're discussing
You're not going to be able to
superpowers?
turn into a fucking bird, so
But yeah,
I feel like that doesn't matter. Shut up, George.
my other answer to that question is teleporting, but it doesn't conserve the momentum that you previously had, because say you teleported really high in the air and then free fell for a bit and then teleported to a rooftop, you'd just go splat, and I don't know if that's worth it. And that's the only reason I'd want
Depends
teleportation.
if you wanted to kill yourself or not, whether it'd be worth it or not.
Dear.
Yeah, unfortunately, I had to make that joke because that's a good old funny joke from 2010.
For the record, I don't want to kill myself.
For the record, I don't recommend anyone kills themselves.
That's probably not a great idea.
So then you can watch more of this amazing podcast. Thank you.
Wait. Damn, I wasn't so quick to plug this.
You gotta keep plugging, otherwise no one's gonna watch.
True, you gotta...
Please tell your family all about this podcast.
Tell your sons, your daughters about this podcast. I've got another topic.
Okay.
So, what instrument has got the most big dick energy? And what I mean by that is what, like, musical instrument that you can play gives off the biggest big dick energy. Like a Vauxhall Corsa is the biggest dick energy from a car.
Obviously. But what do you mean, as in terms of the actual instrument or the person playing it?
So no, the general public's perception of someone who plays an instrument.
The person who plays it would have the biggest penis playing this instrument, or
No.
the instrument would have the biggest penis if it was a human.
Okay, we'll do both. Say, which instrument has the biggest penis?
Clearly organ.
Yeah, that's
Church
actually true.
organ.
That has got a lot of pipes.
Because that's like whale penis level.
Have you ever seen a whale penis? Not in person, I mean. But
No, I haven't, but I've heard it's very large.
they're really gross, and you don't want to see one.
I've seen an elephant's penis, and that was good enough for me.
Oh dear.
But yeah, that's my. And then the person who plays it, the instrument, who would have the biggest penis.
Well, it's definitely not guitar, because that's
Obviously
just so open.
viola, because
No.
that's a funny classical joke that I just made because I know that everyone hates violas or something.
what? So you made the viola
No.
joke, did you?
Yeah, I did actually, but maybe like a fucking violin player, because that's actually difficult. So
Yeah, I was gonna say violin.
big up violin players.
Probably percussionist, just because it's like, yeah, fuck you, I don't care. I basically don't do anything. I just wait for 500 bars and then, yeah, then I play. I don't go to the orchestra comes to me. Delicious. Wow, we've made it this far in.
For about half an hour so far.
I know. This is going actually better than I was expecting. And that's saying something. So my expectations were really low.
I had, very low expectations as well. So that if it went remotely well, like slightly well, that I'd be impressed.
Yeah,
So I hope everyone listening is also impressed.
I'm just impressed by the lack of awkward silences that span for about that long.
Thank you. I'm just basically forcing all of my brain power to try and think of stuff to talk about.
Why are you laughing?
So, because I'm just thinking about how weird that is. Why am I talking about myself talking? That's just pretty weird.
That's meta.
So now for the awkward silences. Right, I'll try and think of something
No.
to ask you now. Or think
Don't-
of a topic.
Yeah, don't try and think about it. Just do it.
Just do it.
Just literally
Well, I do have to try and think about it because I haven't got one ready because I keep forgetting that I need to think of one, which is unfortunate. Shall we go political? 'Cause
Yeah,
those are
yeah, let's
kind
go.
of the only thing. Those are kind of the only things I can think about. And one that I just thought about then, which I know is really fun to talk about, is is the lottery a tax on the poor?
Ooh,
'Cause I fucking love talking about this. I get so triggered about
just
it.
those words make me tingle, So, yes, basically, the lottery plays on the hope of people that are less fortunate, and so it literally is. That's basically what it is. It's built. Well,
It's basically like, hey, you're fucking poor. Do you want to earn loads of money and then become happy because of it? Well, give us some money and you might get some more money.
yeah, and just to prove this point, we haven't even dug right into it yet, but we will in a sec. The whole thing is, when people gain all this money, they spend it all, then get really sad because they've spent all their money they just gained.
Yeah, they've just gone up a few notches in the amount that they're able to spend, and then if they spend it all and don't look after that money, and then they're just gonna miss it, and then they either get really depressed or just get on with life. But most of the time they kill themselves, which is I don't want to keep bringing that subject up, but it's kind of true.
Do you know the statistic for how many lottery people kill themselves? I might look it up on this high-tech laptop I've got over here. Sponsored by Asus. For all your best Asus needs.
I don't know what the percentage is, but I think it's pretty high. Because, unfortunately, the people that do win the lottery don't know what to do with all that money. So they just go, hey, let's buy a new car, a new house, and let's just get really drunk all the time and leave my job. And then they fuck themselves over.
Well, if I had, 50 million quid, I think I'd get drunk all the time. That was a lie. A complete and utter lie. I'd just do loads of cocaine. We don't condone
cocaine and hookers. That's the way to go out.
We don't condone the use of cocaine, and we don't condone buying sex workers. That's a whole different conversation, and it's not really my place to talk about because I'm not a fucking sex worker. So, anyway, back to the suicide statistics I've just looked up, and I haven't clicked on anything, so that might help.
Awkward silence. I'm going to keep talking about the awkward silence to fill in the awkward silence.
This is literally the equivalent of filler music.
Do 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 do. And you still haven't fucking found it.
Right, in a complete disappointment to everyone, you're going to have to look it up yourselves. Tell us in the comments.
Tell us in the comments below how many people kill themselves after winning the lottery.
And don't forget to like and subscribe this video. Share it with your friends and family. And keep the algorithm happy.
Smash that like button. Yeah! No, but in all seriousness, back off the suicide thing, just the whole lottery system, I think, is just bad. But it's just, all it is just amazing marketing.
Yeah, it's like, you're going to win £10 million if you pay us £2. And then you do, and you do it again, and you do it again, and you do it again, and it hooks you. And you just hold on to this.
You're just clinging on to the hope that one day it might be that time where you win. And that's, they say you're not in it to win it.
Yeah, I hate hearing that because it makes me want to...
Oh, you got to be in it to win it, George. And you're like, no, statistically, I'm more likely to get hit by a meteorite. No, thank you.
So the odds for winning the lotto are 1 to 50 million or something. I'm not sure exactly, but that's a rough estimate. So that means you'd have to play 50 million times for a value of less than, let's say the jackpot's 10 million over £50 million. So if you played it for what would that be? That would be 20p each. Yeah, you'd have to pay 20p each time for you to win back over the course of 50 million times. So would it be 20p or is it £2? God damn.
Well, I wasn't really following your math or what you were talking about.
So £10 million divided by £50 million. No, that would be that'd be one over
that would be
£5. So 20p. You'd have to pay 20p.
yeah.
So you pay 10 times as much as you should pay
Yeah.
for the chances of winning, based on it being 1 in 50 million.
And then if by some miracle you do win, then you're probably going to kill yourself afterwards. So please, anyone watching this, do not partake in the lottery unless you know that you are just putting your money down the toilet and it makes you happy for whatever reason. Then please carry on.
Yeah, if you're playing it for fun, like they say, when the fun stops, stop. That's the slogan here in the UK for like gambling awareness. And that actually, well, whilst it isn't enough, the fucking gambling awareness thing, it is a good thing to say, because if you're doing it for genuine enjoyment and it's not harming you, there's literally no harm in it. I think the National Lottery's a charity organisation, technically.
Yeah,
isn't it?
they sponsor a lot of good things. Like, well, mainly the Olympics, I think, is one of the biggest things.
Well, I don't agree with that personally.
Yeah, I'm not a big Olympics fan, but I do enjoy the participation in sport, not necessarily the money aspect. I think is a very controversial topic. So
Stop laughing at nothing. They can't see what we're doing. But yeah, I was gonna say, I'm so communist, I can see right through any capitalist sort of organisation or idea. You know, anything that gets presented on the TV as capitalist marketing, unless it's fucking South Park or something like that, you know. I haven't watched lots of South Park, I've only seen a couple of episodes, but you can tell they're just taking the mick. Wow, we went for silence.
oh dear.
I feel like some muting's gonna go on. Actually, I don't know. We've just both got COVID.
Oh no. I'm sorry for anyone who hears my faint coughing and now my weird voice.
Speaking of faint, we need to upgrade the system.
Yes.
Sitting in this room, huddled around the same mic, is not the ideal setup. Sorry, we shouldn't be talking about production whilst recording.
Yes, that is very boring to anyone listening.
Yeah,
unless they're genuinely interested in why our audio is so shit.
Yeah, but people don't want an explanation for that kind of thing. They'll just complain. They don't care what the reason is. It's not good enough. Joke's on you, still listen to it. Wait!
If you don't like it, don't listen, you fucking dickhead.
Rest in peace, anyone listening with headphones.
So yeah, have you got any more topics to talk about, as I've kind of lottery, but we kind of exhausted that.
I feel like at the moment the structure of conversation is little tangents that go on for a couple of minutes and you have to change subject. I feel like we need to practice to get more in depth, and we'll get better at picking subjects. So that's why you should smash that like button, subscribe, and share this video so we can continue to make videos. So, never mind. I'm sorry I did that.
Yeah, please stop plugging a shit podcast.
You were the one that started me off.
They're just gonna be annoyed about it, and they're just gonna stop watching. And now
this has been 5 minutes of garbage.
No one's ever gonna listen to this because they're like, oh, those fucking dickheads just keep plugging their shit podcast that I'm listening to. Right, that's the end of that.
Yeah. On a more interesting subject, I've got something I'm very passionate about written down here. Let me read it so I can just practice. Why do middle-aged people / pensioners pull those weird faces when they're reading signs? It really pisses me off, man.
Why? That's such a random thing to bring up. I don't even know what to say.
It really annoys me. I don't know why. It's completely harmless.
Yeah, they can't just... Yeah, I know what you mean, though, when you just see them. They stop everything. They just stop everything. Yeah. And then they stop
walking.
They make a weird face at the sign.
Oh my god.
Maybe squint,
that might have to be the thumbnail.
Maybe a squint.
I might make an old person with that doing a face like that as the thumbnail.
That'd be pretty weird. That would make them keep listening to 40 minutes in to hear us bring up this really niche topic.
Let us
but
explain.
Anyway, talk about the topic. So and for any normal human listening, you don't need to stop and look at a sign. The sign's designed so you can understand it very quickly. So the fact that they need to stop everything that they're doing, make a weird face, and then discuss the sign for a few minutes is unnecessary.
It's
and why
so
do
annoying.
They do it? And they're just blocking everyone behind them. Please stop it.
As someone who works in a cafe, I want to understand immediately whether two subjects, passers by, like just random people, whether they're going to come in or not. And usually, with people that are more on it, they make a decision instantly, like that. And then you got old people which fucking stare at the sky for half an hour and then think, oh yeah, the weather's nice, we're going to go into this cafe.
Are you sure
Stop
about
it.
that?
Yes, I am sure about that.
I don't know what accent that was. I'm embarrassed.
I guess I was kind of going for a sort of Mancunian thing, maybe. I don't know. I'm not really an expert on accents.
So yeah, that exhausts that topic. On to the next one.
Can you carry on talking? I've got to type something.
I can try to keep on talking, but I don't know what to say. Just old people in general, I guess. I could talk about how annoying old people are, because they're quite annoying. But also, you can't really say that because they're old. So sorry to all the old people.
I don't think any old people are going to be listening to this.
Hopefully not.
Moving swiftly on. Oh, I've got a question from someone who goes by the name of Pork Chop Rice Cake. I'm not even joking. That is not a lie. That is not a lie. Fucking hell, you just knocked over the microphone.
Actually.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Or was it me? We don't know. Anyway. From Pork Chop Rice Cake. Oh yeah, why does it have to rain all the time? Yep, that's a bad question. Sorry.
Well, I guess it doesn't rain all the time.
No.
So that's inaccurate.
It rains a lot, but there's nothing wrong with a bit of rain.
Water is life.
Jesus gives us the water of life. What? Sorry, I had to make some sort of noise. The suspense was
you would
killing me.
think that we were dead.
Yeah, we literally just died and came back to life.
Yeah.
Not a drill. Honestly, I don't know how long this is going to go on for.
Yeah,
I think we might have exhausted
I think this is the end.
Yeah. I think that's pretty good going, though.
Good job.
48 minutes. Let's go until 50.
What, just to make a round number to make you happy?
Yeah, because going till an hour is too long. We can't pull that off the next 10 minutes. I'm sorry, it's just not an option.
So we have to go 2 minutes instead.
Nope, 1 minute now. Right, let's stop counting down the end of the show. We're gonna
just take a moment.
To do what? To talk about this interesting thing I have to talk about.
For 45 seconds.
So here we go. Oh yeah, what's the best thing about the town we live in? This is a nice quick one. Don't say where we live.
There's lots of old people.
Right, we've already established the disdain. That seems really harsh. I don't actually hate old people. I just get annoyed
They're just
about
very
some
frustrating.
mannerisms. Yeah, more frustrated. But yeah, in my opinion, the best thing about the town in which we live, that'd be Greg's.